few weeks ago on International Women's Day, millions of women stepped off their jobs for a day without women. A few decades ago, women stepped into the workplace to fill a critical need during World War II. In 1943, 310,000 women made up 65% of the workforce, building aircraft for the war. They became known as Rosie the Riveters, and recently I met some originals on Capitol Hill. Meet Anna Hess and May Cryer, two original Rosie the Riveters.
She's making history, working for victory. Rosie the Riveter keeps...
What is a Rosie the Riveter?
Rosie the Riveter is a woman who did a man's job during World War II. We filled the jobs that the young men left when they went off to war.
Rosie the Riveter is a fictitious character in a red dot bandana from a World War II government campaign to recruit women into the workforce to replace the men who'd gone off to fight.
Tens of thousands of women are already at work in aircraft. More are being
The iconic character was named for the women who worked the assembly lines, building the bombers that helped win the war.
I worked at Boeing in Seattle, and I built the riveting on B-17s and the B-29s, and I worked there from early 1943 to 45.
The image of Rosie was popularized by a 1943 Saturday Evening Post Norman Rockwell cover, her name on the lunchbox, and a copy of Hitler's autobiography Mein Kampf at her feet. Now, more than 70 years later, Rosie the Riveters finally received congressional recognition for their patriotic contributions to the war effort and to American history. That's why they're here in Washington, D.C. A Senate resolution officially honored them on Tuesday. It's recognition May fought for decades.
It's unbelievable. We're so proud. I've written so many letters. You can't even imagine how many letters I've written in this last few years to our senators and congressmen. I think they're getting tired of hearing from me, so they figure, well, let's give her a day, because otherwise she's not going to let us alone.
Don't be afraid to take those boy classes in school. No.
All these years later, they're heroes to those who saw them on Capitol Hill, including a group of high school students from Sebastian, Florida. Coincidentally, their teacher, Lori Infantson, recently taught the class about Rosie the Riveters.
When I taught World War II, we did a big focus on the home front, and in that we showed them the efforts of women in factories doing the different jobs like riveting and other types of work that was essential for the war effort.
They got a living history lesson today.
Yes, they did. That's amazing.
Pretty exciting. Did it feel, in retrospect, empowering that you were picking up a man's job and doing it?
No, that wasn't the role at all. We just wanted to win the war, and the women were amazing. I mean, we didn't say it's not my job or your job. It was our job. We were there to win the war. Our men needed our equipment, and that's what we would do. We built the equipment so they could win the war for us. It was simple as that.
Happy birthday!
For May, the hard-fought recognition came on her 91st birthday, giving more reason to celebrate.
Happy birthday to you!
And my mother-in-law was a Rosie the Riveter. The Rosie the Riveters are continuing their fight for recognition, not just the one day, but a Rosie the Riveter Day each year.